want to make a presentation.
Everyone, please.
I want to make a presentation of books that I'm distributing today. We have a poetry book and a set of Prabhupada meditations that have been newly published. They were published many years ago in 4 volumes. And now they've been republished in 2 beautiful volumes.
There's only enough for each devotee to take either or volume.
No.
What?
They go in sets.
Okay. 40 sets.
You miss out this time, you'll get them next time.
Okay.
To introduce the poetry books, I want to read a statement I wrote. For art's sake, I really like to do poems, although they're not as popular or accessible forms. I said to devotees, we have to find our inclination by self-examination and also by some consultation with others. And when after years of search we finally decide this is it, then we may be embarrassed by it, and others may think it odd, but we should do our best then to purify and perfect it. In the back of my mind, I was thinking of my own case. What I want to declare is that I am a poet. I didn't think of that specifically when I was facing the devotees, but I kept thinking of the story of Robert Frost as a child. And that story I did want to tell was on the tip of my tongue, but I refrained from it. I would have said it like this. Robert Frost was a world-class American poet. When he was a child, I think about 15 years old, he wrote a poem which won a prize and was published. He then became very interested in being a poet. His father was worried about such a non-profitable career for his son and took what he thought was a clever strategy. He said to his son, "You can try being a poet for 2 years." Robert Frost blurted back, "Give me 50. As a poet, I need to write the crazy lines, the loping cat, the jazz play, the mad career, looking at American writers, because that is my mother tongue and culture, and I will carry its sound with me even into ISKCON. Over 27 years, where much of what we speak is also American sourced. I try to speak to the honest core, coming out with my actual state of Krishna consciousness, or lack of Krishna consciousness. To whom can I tell this except the private page and the readers who are willing to share it with me? I am a poet, so this is applicable to my distributing the poetry book today, but actually over 50% of my writing is prose. But we're giving out poetry today, so I wanted to read this. This is the new book, Poems, a retrospective, volume 2. we have another presentation, a new publication of a book I wrote many years ago, Prabhupada Meditations. It originally came out in 4 volumes, and now Nitai Das in India produced a 2-volume set. This is a very important book. It was written immediately after I finished Prabhupada Lilamrita, and I was still on the wave of inspiration and empowerment of writing that book. So for a donation, you can get these 2 books. I'll read one poem from the poetry book. It's called Message to Dear Ones. Don't forbid me. Don't watch me. I am in Guyana, and the breeze moves the sheer curtains. The men outside dig holes. I am in here with a weak inner head. But I am not sorry. This is the day before another lecture. I made my outline on soggy paper. I want to say it's nice, something Krishna conscious. Yeah, I read of Prabhupada and his relation with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. It was long ago, 1920 and 30, and I picked it up from SPL. Tell these people who hear me simply, blankly, take it easy, be easy on yourself. The Master guided us, and I tell them he was guided by He Master. Imply they should hear from me. But what can I do for them? I am not sure. Duty life in their little houses in Guyana, so countrified, backward, Hindus and blacks and Tama. But we can rise above it. We've got the mission of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, but now they're not so keen to push with local ISKCON temples and politics as they see it. Or maybe it's just that they are struggling to run a family. Saw one bathing his naked 4-year-old son, simple in backyard, one bucket and smaller bucket pouring over his little brown body. Give him a cloth to dry and some instructions as I watched from above. I don't tell these people to make a charge of the Light Brigade on World Enlightenment Day. Don't tell them to dwell apart. Just say what the books say. They do as they like, as they are able. So you can come up now.